Hi, Julia Watts here. Welcome to my YouTube channel. So today we're going to be looking at Mama Makes Natalie's Florals. First day of spring today, and the daffodils are out where I live, and it's just wonderful to see that spring is on its way. So that's why I thought we'd look at those. So we are going to look at the daffodil in particular. But there are 4 different stamp sets within this range from Mama Makes, and they're all in stock on my website, which is juliawattscrafts.co.uk, for shipping to UK addresses. So we have the daffodils, and I love the sentiments that are on here. They work very well with the Fairy Hugs stamps that I also stock on my website. So with the daffodils, we've got joy, believe in the magic of new beginnings, and wishing you brighter days. This is your snowdrops, and we've got thinking of you, hope, and sometimes the right words can't be found. And they've all got a frame around them. And this is the fritillary. We've got to plant a garden is to believe in tomorrow, happiness, be brave, one day or day one you decide. And then we've got the tulips. Sending cheerful thoughts, you will forever be my always. Sorry about that. You will forever be my always. Friendship is like sunshine. It keeps us warm and helps us grow. I really love these stamp sets. So as I said, we're going to look at the daffodils because I'm looking out of my window and there's daffodils bobbing around in the wind. So we're definitely looking at those. And Lottie does use very kind of environmentally friendly packaging. There's like a tab here. I'll show you on this one that I haven't opened. And you just pull the tab, and you get into the envelope that way. There's no excess plastic. Obviously there's the acetate that the stamp comes on, and it is approximately I believe it's an A6 stamp set. So yeah, it's just shy of 5.5 inches by 3 3/4. Somewhere else. So I've got, this is a piece of Sentimental Yours super smooth hot pressed watercolour card. I'm going into the stamping platform. Make sure it's tucked into the corner. And it is, there's a few little tricks that you can have with this stamp set if you want to. As it's a frame, I mean, they are photopolymer stamps, so they are very good quality stamps. The sentiments are cut out from the centre of it, so the frame is very kind of loose. So if you want it to be straight, I suggest you just plop it down and let it find its own way, and then that will be straight-ish, because obviously I can't see straight really. But that's the way that you'll get the stamp to settle. Another way to do it is to take your sentiments off, pop the acetate down, and then with the front of the acetate, obviously that's the back where you take your stamps off, with the front of the acetate, and you can actually pop your stamp on there and manipulate it until it's right in line with the acetate. That's another way. But you know, like I say, let it just settle, and then it'll be the frame will be straight. Let's pick that up. And we are going for Nocturne Versifying Clair, which is the black one. Lots of tapping. You will probably, if you're heavy-handed like me, you will probably find that you'll get some ink down here in the centre, but they are deeply etched, so you won't pick up that ink onto your stamping if you're using a platform. Press. Now the watercolour card does actually suck up the ink really quickly, because we like that when we're kind of throwing loads of water for our backgrounds at it. So you might need to stamp it a couple of times, especially when it's new, when you first stamp it. Just a little bit there, that's me. That's better. Let's just go a little bit more just there. Actually, I am going to just go a little bit more on that. I want it nice and dark. Good. Excellent. Okay, I'll show you close up. Really kind of almost whimsical design. I really like these flowers. Let's fetch that off. Do be careful when you fetch it off. It shouldn't tear, but because we've got quite thin lines on the one side, go from the thicker part of your stamp to pick it up, and then take the thinner area afterwards. And let that set down back on the acetate. Then we're going to take one of the sentiments out, and I'm going to have the Believe in the Magic of New Beginnings. So pop that just in the centre there. Let's see if that's straight. You can get away with it being slightly off, but where we've got the kind of normal writing, if you like, rather than the kind of freehand writing, you do want that area to be straight. I'm going to do that. I might do this twice so it's as dark as the frame, especially on that old bit where I've obviously missed a bit. See, they're not particularly sticky stamps, so that means on the print side, that means that when I've picked it up, it hasn't actually pulled the card out of the corner, which is great. I like that. Okay, so there's my sentiment. So we've finished with that stamp set now. What I'm also going to do is I'm going to go to my Fairy Hug stash. So I think here Ed the Cat would work really nicely, but I've all got, because I'm thinking this could be an Easter card, obviously spring, I'm going to use one of the bunnies from Fairy Hugs. I'm going to use this little chappy here because he's actually facing that way. I mean, we could perhaps put a bunny underneath here and he could be looking up that way, which is another way of using it. But I'm going to just pop this little bunny here just on the frame like that, and we're going to stamp him in black as well. Mix and match your brands, because we all do it, don't we? And I think it's wonderful when you can do that. You've got incredible detail, and you can see the fur on him. So I think he looks fab, just sat there on the frame like that. There's also the mini hares as well. You can probably use some of that. There's the mini cats, or there's all sorts of mini animals from Fairy Hugs, which will probably work with this. Or some of the fairies, they could be looking up as well. Where's my case? There it is. So that's the bunnies from Fairy Hugs, which is in my website, because I'm the only UK stockist. So what we could do is we could just leave it like that. We don't have to add any colour if we don't want to, so you could just make a monochrome card. So I've got here, this has been cut out using the double deboss stitched, no, the deboss double stitched rectangles from Sentimentally Yours. And we've got that stitch detail either side because they are double stitched. So we could trim that down, pop a frame around it, and pop that mat and layer it onto our card. Let's just show you what that would look like. Let's just fetch some of this off. I'd normally use a trimmer. Not fetch too much off. We'll soon find out, won't we? No, we're good. Okay, so you could just pop that on there like that, and I think that would be really lovely. That works, doesn't it? Just in the monochrome. But I thought we'd add a little bit of colour to it and just do something a little bit different. So that one's still drying. So I've got one that I've already stamped. And in fact, the bunny's not in such a good position as he is here. I've actually managed to get his feet on the frame there, but I didn't there. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I'm not stressed about it. What I've also done is I've made a little mask out of woodwear masket sheet, which you'll also find on my website. And we're going to pop this on because I'm going to do a little bit of stenciling. Now you could have made yourself a coloured background and actually stamped on top, which I would do normally, probably, rather than doing it this way around. But I thought we'd just do a little bit of stenciling. I think we'll go from the flower downwards. See, I can't be bothered to cut out the centre bit there. I just can't be bothered to do that. But it's fine, I'm not going to stencil around that bit. And I've cut a little bit too much out there because that's a little bit of a stem there. But it's fine. Oh. Gone off slightly. I was on exactly right before. Always the way. I'll do. Right, so woodwear masket sheet. And also from Mama Mates, I've also got these in stock here. This is I think it's called Geo Stencil. And this is an A5 stencil, if I can get it out of the packet. And you'll find that you've got innies and outies. So these are still attached with little pips. So when you get them, you can very carefully pull them out. See if I can do this. So that means that what you could do is, let's show you a piece of card. So you could ink through here. Let's just pick raspberry oxide that just happens to be on my thingy. Like that. And then you can leave it in place, Julia. That tape, so I know that it's in the right place. See, already going up at a tangent. Anybody that knows me knows that I go off at tangents quite a bit. Then you can pop that back in, like so. And then you can grab another colour. I think I've probably got some on my brush. This is just distressing. See if this works. Yeah, I've still got some in. So if you go over the top and don't move it, see, I'll just pop that back in again. It moves. It's me being cack-handed. No, it won't want to come out, you what? But you can see you've got perfect lined up image on the centre. It's very clever. It's very, very clever. So these are the Geo Stencil, and there's obviously 6 designs. But what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to grab a different colour. I've got my, on here I've got saltwater taffy, distress ink. because all my brushes have just got Distress inks on, and most of my handles have got oxide on. I think what we're going to do is we're going to go outside here like this. I am going to, because I'm dealing with quite a big brush here, I am going to, I'm not going to pop that stencil out. I'm going to leave it in place. So if you actually just want to leave them so you don't use the backing, you can just leave them in place, or you can have some that you leave in place and some that you don't. So, you know, it's up to you, isn't it? Okay. So I'm going to grab some saltwater taffy. I don't know if this is going to look any good, but we'll see. I'm going to go over the design there. I thought saltwater taffy would be a nice kind of, you can see it's quite nice and pink. I think we'll go over here perhaps. Like so. We have got a little bit coming over the edge there, but I'm all right with that. I'm going to grab another bit of tape so that I don't go over my bunny here. I wouldn't mind going over him with the design, but I don't want to go over him with the just plain bit. And these brushes are from Studio Light. I have a few of these packs left in stock. And they're great because they're kind of colour coordinated, so you know you can use all that sort of colour together. Let's go just a little bit off the edge here maybe. So there's three. Three's work. Oh, I've got a little bit of ink coming off there. I hope that hasn't transferred. I think I've got away with that. That's just from the sentiment, because the Versafine Clay takes a while to dry. Just about got away with that. So we go off the page with this one here. Obviously the frame's going to hide some of this. Do. And you will find all Distress inks and Distress oxides on my website. And now we'll lift this. So we've got just a little bit of design coming over the edge like that. I quite like that. That works. And always put your, or I would suggest you always put your masks back on your carrier if you can. I'll sort that out properly afterwards, and then you can tuck it in the envelope with your stamps. So when this goes on like that, it just looks a little bit more interesting, doesn't it? I quite like it. I'm happy with that. Now to colour in, I'm just going to very simply use some watercolour blending brush pens from Sentimentally Yours, and I've got pens from set 1, set 4 and set 3, because I've got all of them. And I'm not going to do all of this in front of you, but I think what we'll do is we'll do a sort of orangey colour trunk, or whatever, trumpet, that's what it's called, isn't it? And like so. I might get carried away and do it anyway, because you can always fast forward. And then we'll pull it out with the yellow, because you can blend them together nicely. Like so. So it's just a little bit darker at the base. And you can always go on with some more. And you can, because they blend nicely together as I'm doing here, or you can actually use your water brush. You can scribble different colours on your craft sheet and make your own mix of colours if you want to. And then let's take from the petal here, we'll take this yellow that I was using to pull the orange out. I have got a few of the watercolour blending brush pen sets left, but set 1 I can't get any more. So you can look on Honey Pot Crafts and see if you can get that there. but there's none on the trade website, so I can't get any. They have been reordered several times, and I believe that they're not getting reordered again. So this is kind of like a mustardy colour. It's a lighter yellow, and we're going to just pull that out to the edges of the petals and merge that with the other yellow. They do blend seamlessly. In fact, I've had my watercolour blending brush pens for I think nearly 4 years, and just last month I managed to get a whole new set of the 4 sets, so that because 1 or 2 have actually run out, and I use them all the time. I use them for my Sentimental Yours colouring. I'm using them now. I use them with all my Fairy Hugs colouring. So I use them all the time, and they've been used at workshops as well, so, and for TV demos, so they've been used a lot. So I think they've done pretty well. They're not all running out, but just 1 or 2 I've had to throw away because they've run out. But I think that's pretty good going, really, considering how much I use them. They are my pen of choice. So here I'm obviously going for all of it, aren't I? Very easy. See, colouring can be quite scary, I think. I tend to do easy colouring, and I find that these pens give me easy colouring. I'd much rather do these than alcohol markers, because I find alcohol markers hard work. But these are just an absolute dream. They really are. A bit black. When you've got your mask on, what you could do, it also, if you wanted to, is you could get your misters, you could splat as well with your paints. There's all sorts of things you can do while your mask is on. So there's my daffodils, all kind of coloured in very easily, no problem. Not sure what this is here. I think that must be a bit of leaf. I'm not sure. The leaves, I'm just very, very simply just going to take this fresh green, which is from set 3, and the stems, and I'm just going to take these up. There's such a fine tip on these, if you can see. So you can get right in there. I might add a little bit of another green in a minute, or I might not. You can go in and deepen the colours even more, so that area there I can come in again with this fresh green and make it darker if I want to. Build the colours up. It's your standard watercolour techniques that you use with these pens. You can of course colour in with distress inks as well, and distress oxides. They're just going to give you a different look. Actually, I think this stamp set would look fantastic stamped over, say, one of the big backgrounds from Sentimental Yours, like the journal page. I think it'd look lovely over that. Or if you've got a text stamp, just make your own background up. The Fairy Dictionary from Fairy Hugs would be fab on the back of here as well. So think about what you want to do and actually stamp them in the right order. I do think the Fairy Dictionary look really well with this. You don't necessarily have to stamp in black underneath. You could do Morning Mist, which is the grey. Where are we going with these stems? I think that's a bit of a stem there. We just got this little bit up here. And I think we're all coloured in, aren't we? We're all coloured in. We could just go a little bit darker just here. A little bit darker here. So just take a little, go in again. A little bit darker down there. Nice fresh green, that's from set 3. So now we can assemble, I think. So we can pop our frame on. Lovely fresh spring card. And I put 2mm foam tape on the back here from Woodware, which you'll also find on my website. With my debossed double stitched rectangles from Sentimental Yours, which are a relatively new die set. Let's see if we can get this straightish. So I want an evenish, I will have to move it to one side so I can see, an evenish border around. Let's go with that. Yeah, that looks good to me. I'm going to pop this on our card blank. Here we go. And we've got another double stitch rectangle there for the black mat. Trying to see if I'm straight. Okay, hopefully I am. Give it a press in the middle as well so we get that glue bonded in the middle. And there we go. Just a very, very, very simple card using the Natalie's Florals Daffodils from Mama Makes. And we've got the little fairy hugs bunnies, one of the bunnies just in the corner there looking up to see what's going on. Obviously you can continue stenciling, you could add, like I say, you could add more splats, we could put pearl in each corner, a black pearl in each corner would be really nice, I think, to set that off. And just a reminder with the stamp sets, so we've got the daffodil in stock, we've also got the tulips, and we've got the fritillary, and we've also got the snowdrops, all in stock on my website juliewattscrafts.co.uk for shipping to UK addresses. And one last look at the make for today. So thank you for watching.